You sweep out an old cabin. Dust fills the air. You don't think twice. 3 days later, you wake up drenched in sweat. Your body aches like you've been hit by a truck. And your lungs start to fail. This is hantavirus. And by the time most people realize what's happening, it's already too late. What is hantavirus? Hantavirus is one of the most dangerous infections a human being can encounter in the wild or even inside their own home. It spreads through rodents, mice, rats, deer mice especially. But here's the terrifying part. You don't have to touch a single animal to get infected. Just breathing in contaminated dust carrying dried rodent urine, droppings, or saliva, is enough. One breath. That's all it takes. And once it's inside you, the clock starts ticking. How people accidentally get infected. Most victims never see it coming. They open up an old garage after winter. They clean a dusty storage room. They spend a weekend in a mountain cabin that's been sitting empty for months. And somewhere in that dust, danger is waiting. Rodents leave traces everywhere. Under floorboards, inside walls, in corners you haven't touched in years. When you disturb those spaces, when you sweep, when you vacuum, when you shake old rugs, those invisible particles lift into the air. And then you breathe them in. Closed spaces make it worse. No airflow, no ventilation. Just you and that contaminated air trapped in the same room. This is how perfectly healthy people end up fighting for their lives. Most people don't know this. And that's exactly what makes it so deadly. Early symptoms, the silent countdown. Here's what makes hantavirus so terrifying as a survival threat. The symptoms don't start immediately. The incubation period can be anywhere from 1 to 5 weeks. You feel fine. You go about your life. You have no idea the virus is already spreading through your body. And then it begins. Sudden fever. Fatigue so heavy you can barely lift your arms. Muscle pain that hits deep in your legs, your back, your hips. Headaches. Chills. Nausea. At this stage, most people assume it's the flu. They rest. They wait for it to pass. That is the most dangerous mistake you can make. Because 4 to 10 days after those first symptoms appear, everything changes. Your lungs begin to fill with fluid. Breathing becomes difficult, then painful, then nearly impossible. This stage, called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, is where people die. The mortality rate can reach 40 to 50%. You only have hours. Survival steps, what you must do. So how do you survive this? Here's your hantavirus survival guide, and every single step matters. Step 1. Never, and I mean never, sweep or vacuum a space with rodent droppings dry. That is how the particles become airborne. That is how the virus enters your lungs. Always wet the area first. Step 2. Spray the contaminated area with a disinfectant solution. Bleach mixed with water works. Let it soak for at least 5 minutes before you touch anything. Step 3. Wear gloves. Wear an N95 mask or higher. Do not touch your face. Do not take shortcuts. Your life depends on the gear you put on before you walk in. Step 4. Ventilate the space. Open doors and windows at least 30 minutes before entering a closed area that may have rodent activity. Let fresh air push out what's been sitting there. Step 5. And this is critical. If you've been in a contaminated space and you start developing fever, muscle pain, and fatigue within the following weeks, go to the emergency room immediately. Tell them exactly where you were. Tell them about possible rodent exposure. Early medical intervention is the difference between surviving and not. Do not wait. Do not assume it's just a cold. You only get one chance to act fast enough. 250 to 330, final survival warning. Hantavirus doesn't care how strong you are. It doesn't care if you're young, healthy, or experienced in the outdoors. It hides in places we forget to fear. Old cabins, dusty garages, abandoned buildings, places that feel harmless. The danger isn't always in the wild. Sometimes it's in the room you haven't cleaned in months. Now you know what most people never find out until it's too late. If this survival guide could save even one life, share it with someone who camps, hikes, or lives near rural areas. And if you're serious about survival, subscribe to the survival tips. Because out here, knowledge isn't just power. It's the only thing standing between you and the dark. Stay safe, stay alert, and never stop preparing. Subscribe for more survival tips.